My DNA test proved my kids aren't mine, cheating exposed, my revenge crushed a corrupt empire. After the jury heard the closing arguments, they were excused since it was 4 o'clock in the afternoon. The judge sent them back to their hotel, where they were sequestered for the 2-week trial that followed a nearly year-long investigation. The defendant returned to the Tarrant County Correctional Center in Fort Worth. Nothing more would happen until Monday, when the jury reconvened. I decided to walk back to my room at the Hilton Garden Inn in downtown Dallas, stopping at a bar for a beer and a bite. I had just finished my burger and was halfway through my beer when I heard a woman behind me. "Hey, cowboy, buy a girl a drink?" she asked. I turned around and recognized her. "Ashley? Ashley Marks, is that really you?" I asked. "Yes, it's me," she said with a smile. I invited her to sit and called the waitress. "How long has it been? 16, 17 years?" I asked. 17 years, she replied. Ashley was one of my best friends in high school, along with Steve Jenkins and Jolene Carter. We were known as the Four Musketeers until her dad got a job in Austin during our senior year. I hadn't seen or heard from her since. "I've been good," she said. "Went to the University of Texas, graduated, got married, got divorced, and now work as a reporter for the Austin Statesman." "Wow, what happened?" I asked. She shrugged. "I was married, but he wasn't. After catching him cheating 3 times, I kicked him out. I think he ended up running a McDonald's in Beaumont." "I'm sorry to hear that," I said. "What brings you to Dallas?" I asked. "I've been covering the Jenkins trial. I saw you testify. I feel sorry for Jolene. She didn't deserve to die like that." I stayed silent, thinking how Jolene didn't deserve to die, though I would have preferred a harsher fate for her. That possibility was taken away by the man I once considered my best friend. "So, how are you, Bill Jennings?" she asked. "Considering the last 16 years of my life have been a sham, I'm okay," I said. "At least you have kids," she said. "Yeah, they're mine legally," I replied. "You may not be their biological father, but you're their dad in every way that matters," she said. "You're probably right, but it doesn't make me feel better," I said. "Look, I have a confession," she began. I wondered what she was about to say. "Every reporter wants your story. I want to tell it if you'll let me. I understand if you have trust issues, but no one knows you like I do. We can sign a contract, you give me exclusive rights and I protect you. My editor approved it. I won't publish anything without your approval." I realized she was right. Reporters from all major outlets were contacting me. It was overwhelming. Something told me I could trust her. "Okay, Ashley, you have a deal. How do we do this? Here, my hotel, or yours?" "What do you mean?" she asked. "I've wanted to visit the old homestead. It's only a couple of hours away by car. We have the weekend off since the jury doesn't start deliberating until Monday. Let's drive back, and you can show me where it all happened. You can tell me the details on the way, and I'll talk to your kids and parents if that's okay." I thought it would be a nice break from the trial and a chance to show Ashley the neighborhood and maybe repair our relationship. "Sounds good," I said. "Where are you staying?" "At the Hilton around the corner. You?" "Same place. Want to grab a few things before we go?" She nodded, and we agreed to meet at my truck in the parking lot. "You can't miss it," I told her. "It's a big blue cab. Still the same bill with the biggest truck," she said. "Give me about half an hour to change and grab some things." We hit the road, and by the time we got onto Highway 20 towards Abilene, the sun had set. I was relieved since I disliked driving in the sun. Ashley had changed into a professional outfit, a denim skirt and a white blouse, looking as beautiful as she did in high school. I couldn't help but notice her legs. She smiled. "I know what you're thinking, cowboy." "Really?" I asked. "You're wondering why you didn't sleep with me instead of Jolene," she said. I laughed. "Is that your reporter's instinct?" "No, it's the way you look at my legs, just like in high school," she said. "Legs like that are hard to forget," I told her. She smiled and took out a tape recorder. "So, is there a Mr. Right in Austin?" I asked. "No, since my divorce I focused on work. I've had trust issues with men and haven't met anyone I want to spend time with," she replied. "Sorry to hear that," I said. She laughed. Somehow I doubted. Damn those reporter instincts. "Shall we start this interview?" "Sure," I said. She placed the recorder on the dashboard. "You don't mind if I write this down, do you?" she asked. "Not at all," I said. "I want you to get it right." I took a sip of coffee and began. "As you know, Steve, Jolene and I were close in high school. After you left, it was mostly just the 3 of us. I proposed to Jolene after graduation, and she said yes. Steve and I joined the Marines and went to boot camp together. After training, we split up. He went into infantry, and I went into computer electronics. He ended up at Camp Pendleton, and I went to Quantico. A month later, Steve injured his knee and got a medical leave. You'll notice he still has a limp." "Couldn't he have gotten a desk job?" Ashley asked. No, everyone in the Corps has to be combat ready. Steve's father pulled strings to get him into the county, I explained. His father was a county commissioner, right? Ashley asked. I nodded. Yes, that's how Steve got elected. I graduated, came home, and got married. Steve was my best man. Later I found out he was also Jolene's best man, if you know what I mean. At Cow, Ashley said. 9 months after we married, Brian was born. A year later, I was sent to Okinawa for a year. Jolene and Brian stayed in my inherited house. After that tour, we moved to Camp Lejeune, where Jessica was born. Jolene had a tough pregnancy and insisted I get a vasectomy. She said it could be reversed if we wanted more kids. Looking back, it's clear Steve's traits are in the kids, I said. Didn't you notice when they were born? She asked. It's a fair question, I said. Steve and I look similar, same, hair, eyes, even earlobes. The kids looked like me when they were little and had their mother's eyes and nose. It wasn't until they were older that I noticed the resemblance to Steve. You'll see the baby pictures when we get to my house. I finished my service, and we all came home. I worked at my dad's computer store and traveled a lot for business. Did it bother Jolene? Ashley asked. No, she liked it. It gave her time to bring Steve into our home and bedroom, which I found out much later, I said. You mean she actually slept with Steve in your bed? Asked Ashley. Yeah, all the time, I replied. That's why I burned the bed and mattress after she was shot. I don't blame you, Ashley said. I also burned the couch and chair Steve used. Jolene's wedding dress went up in flames too, I added. So Steve was a regular guest at your house? Ashley asked. Yes, he even had his own chair. I didn't mind at the time since I thought he was a friend. He'd come over after church on Sundays. We'd watch the game and he'd fall asleep in that chair. The kids called him Uncle Steve, mostly because Jolene insisted. It annoyed me, but now I know why, I said. Want to warm up my coffee? I asked, ready for a pit stop. Ashley turned off the recorder. Sure, I could use a smoke break. I nodded and took the next exit. After our break, we were back on the highway. Ashley set the recorder on the dashboard. So you had no idea Jolene was cheating with Steve? She asked. No, I was clueless. She never disrespected me, at least not to my face. There was never a hint of it when I was home. They were careful, I said. How did you find out? She asked. About a year ago, I was in Los Angeles for a month-long training. Jolene and the kids emailed and called me daily. One weekend, Brian sent a picture from a fishing trip with Jolene and Steve. I showed Ashley the photo on my phone. It showed Brian with a large fish, Steve next to him, and Jolene on the other side with her hand on Steve's shoulder. What do you see? I asked. They look so much alike, even the dimples, she said. Exactly. And look at Jolene's hand. What stands out? I asked. Ashley enlarged the image. No rings, she said. Right, guess where they were. I led her to another photo album. Check this out, I said. Her eyes widened. Is that what I think it is? She asked. Yes, my wedding ring and my great-grandmother's ring. And guess whose cigarette butts are in that ashtray? I said. Steve's, she guessed. Yep, and the ashtray was on my nightstand, meaning Steve was in our bed, I said. Ashley started to cry. How could she do that to you? And Jessica sent this, I said. She helped my mom clean the house and saw the rings. She took a picture and sent it to me. She was very upset. I can imagine, Ashley said. Did she tell Jolene? No, I asked her not to say anything. I also asked her to take the rings and mail them to me, I said. Ashley laughed. I bet Jolene was frantic. Yeah, Jessica did everything I asked. Jolene was going crazy looking for the rings. She even had Steve help search. They went through the garbage, sinks, everything, I said. So what did you do? Ashley asked. My course ended on Friday, and I came home on Saturday night. Jolene met me, crying about losing her grandmother's ring. I asked all the usual questions and then pulled the rings from my pocket. She was stunned. How did you get them? She asked. I told her a trusted friend found them and mailed them to me. I didn't mention Jessica to protect her. I just said, don't put them in the ashtray next time Steve comes over. Her eyes went wide and she started crying, telling me she loved me. I'm sorry, I said, seeing Ashley's reaction. I didn't mean to swear. That's all right, she said. I've heard and said much worse. So, what did you do then? I knew it was over between us then. I didn't have solid evidence of the cheating, just suspicions. I decided to investigate first. I wanted DNA tests to see if the kids were mine. I bought surveillance equipment, motion-activated cameras, audio recorders, and bugged our cell phones. Everything recorded on my home server and backed up to the cloud. I installed it all when she went shopping. The DNA test was easy. One of our clients in Dallas is a lab that does this testing. I took samples from the kids and myself, asking them not to tell their mother. When Steve came over that Sunday, He fell asleep in his usual chair, making it easy to swab his cheek. A week later, the lab mailed the results to the store. 99.9% probability Steve was the father of both kids, meaning this had been going on for at least 16 years. "And you had no idea?" asked Ashley. "No clue. She never gave me a reason to doubt her." Our bed life was normal, but a week after installing the equipment, I got the first video evidence. I was in Oklahoma City for a couple of days, and the kids were at my parents'. Jolene was alone and called Steve over that night. I logged into my server and saw them in our bed. Worse than seeing them together was hearing what they said. "What did they say?" asked Ashley. "Hold on," I said. "I need to focus on this road. It's dark, no lights, no guardrails, and near where Steve's pill-dealing buddies operated. Most are arrested now, but I stay cautious." I turned on the high beam, the light bar on the cab, the police scanner, and CB radio. I also pulled my weapon from the glove compartment. Finally, we reached my house, and Ashley noticed a DSS car in the driveway. "Who is that?" she asked. "Defense," I said. "They've been watching the place since Steve's arrest. Some of his buddies tried to burn it down, but we stopped them. I have round-the-clock security now. DSS also watches my family and kids. Most of Steve's buddies are locked up, but we're not taking chances. Let's check it out, and I'll introduce you." We parked in the garage and approached the patrol car. The officer got out. "Bill Jennings, I thought you were in Dallas for the trial." We shook hands. "The trial went to the jury this afternoon. This is Ashley Marks, a reporter from the Austin Statesman. She'll be with me this weekend," I said, nodding to her. He touched his hat. "Nice to meet you, ma'am. Things have been quiet since the Rangers took the last gang out. My replacement will arrive soon." "Thank you," I said. We shook hands. "Have a good night," he said as we headed for the door. "I will." "You too," I replied. I set the coffee pot down and gave Ashley a tour of the house. The original house was built in 1866 by William Bryan Jennings after returning from the Civil War. It has been expanded, remodeled, and modernized many times but still has traces of the original structure. Now it has 5 bedrooms, a 3-car garage, and a covered porch. There are bedrooms for the 2 kids, a master bedroom, a room converted for Jolene's sewing, and a playroom TV room for the kids. I suggested Ashley take the master bedroom since it had a bathroom, and I'd sleep on the futon in my den. Ashley refused. "Nonsense," she said. "The bed is big enough for both of us, and we're adults." That threw me off balance, but I agreed. She smiled and led me downstairs. "You have a story to tell, so let's get to it," she said. "Let me call the kids first," I said. I called my parents' house, talked to my dad, and then the kids. They were excited to see Ashley, and we planned to meet for lunch the next day. I grabbed my coffee and went to the living room, bringing a stack of DVDs from my study. "These should help," I said. Her eyes widened. "How many videos do you have?" "Quite a few," I said. "Some from home, some from my office. I've also scanned documents and have photos and audio recordings. Everything is here with backups." I pulled out a DVD and put it in the player. "It's graphic," I warned. "I'm ready," she said. I reminded her that this DVD confirmed my suspicions and to listen carefully. The clip started with Jolene entering the bedroom, followed by Steve. Jolene took off her rings and tossed them into the ashtray on my nightstand. Steve, smiling, put out his cigarette on them. "To hell with him and his great-grandmother's ring," Jolene said. Steve laughed. Ashley grimaced, tears in her eyes. They started making love, and I fast-forwarded through the most graphic parts. "It takes about an hour," I said. "The pillow talk afterward is a real doozy." "Thank you for showing me this," Ashley said. "It's one thing to hear about cheating, but another to see it." They lay on their backs, smoking. Jolene turned to Steve. "I'm pregnant again, baby. Looks like you're going to be a daddy," she said. Steve frowned. "Damn it, didn't you take your pills?" he asked. "Yeah, but I might have missed a day or two." "Why can't you use a contraceptive?" "I hate them," he said. "You know the rules, no rubbers." "I can't have another feticide, Steve," she said. "I've had 3, and the last one almost eliminated me. Besides, Bill had a vasectomy after Jessica was born. It was your idea." "What do you want to do?" Steve asked. "I want to marry you and go away." "Bill's figured us out anyway," she said. "I'm not the marrying kind. Bill works and pays, and I get paid. Don't worry about him, he's so stupid we could do it in front of him and he wouldn't notice." "Why don't you do to him what you do to other guys?" she said. "Those guys were illegals, no one misses them. Eliminating a respected member of society is different." "Maybe you can arrange an accident," Jolene suggested. "People die driving down Indian Trail all the time." "We might do something, but not yet. Maybe we can find something to incapacitate him gradually, like poison. Let's plan this carefully. Maybe after the kids are out of the house, you can get his insurance and part of his business. For now, go to the new clinic in Abilene. They'll take better care of you. I'll keep an eye on Bill. If he does something stupid, like go to a lawyer, I'll handle it." Jolene nodded. "Okay, baby, I'll do it." "You're the man," she said, kissing him. "Now let's get on with it," she said, and they started again. I stopped the video. Ashley shook her head, tears streaming down her face. "I hate her, and you lived with her for 17 years. Oh, please tell me you went to a lawyer after that." "I did. Let me tell you about it," I began. I had made an appointment with Alan Jackson, our family lawyer. I showed him the DNA report and the video of Jolene and Steve. Alan explained that, although Texas is a community property state, infidelity can affect the division of property and alimony. However, he warned me about Steve. "Bill, Steve runs this county. He owns the sheriff's department and every judge. You have to file in the county where you've lived for 90 days. I don't think any judge here will hear your case. Plus, Jolene's pregnancy could delay the process. Texas courts won't finalize a divorce until the baby is born, regardless of who the father is. Steve also told me to inform him of any divorce attempts." "Are you saying Steve ordered you to break attorney-client privilege?" I asked. Alan nodded. "I'm afraid so, Bill. I don't want to end up in a shallow grave on Indian Trail. I'm sorry, but I have no choice. I guess I don't have a choice either. You're fired." "I need all our files now," I said. I anticipated that. "The files are ready," he said, pointing to 2 boxes by the door. He handed me a note. "Thanks," he said, realizing I gave him an out. "I'm sorry, Bill. Can't you stay with Jolene for the kids? Could you be betrayed for 17 years? I asked. "I don't think so," he admitted. "Let me help you with the files." We walked to my truck. "Call the people on that list. The authorities are very interested in Steve's actions. Steve is keeping tabs on you. Again, I'm sorry. Maybe we can work things out after this is over." I shook his hand. "Thank you, Alan. We'll be in touch." I returned to my office, thinking over Alan's words. I wasn't worried about firing him because my father would support my decision. I was more concerned about Steve. I called the numbers Alan gave me and made appointments with a high-ranking family law attorney, a state's attorney, and a senior Texas Ranger officer, all in Dallas. I told my dad I fired Alan, and he was fine with it. "Why did you do that?" my father asked. I explained what Alan had told me and showed him the DNA and video evidence. His tone changed. "Oh crap," he said. "I suspected Steve was trouble, but not this bad. Get the kids out of the house, there's no telling what they'll do." I agreed, but wondered what excuse to use. My father had a plan. "When are your appointments in Dallas?" he asked. "Tomorrow," I replied. "Tell Jolene you're going to Phoenix for a survey and might be gone for a few days. I'll come home with you and have the kids packed to stay with us. Hopefully, that will keep them safe," he said. "Are you going to tell the kids?" "I have to, Dad. They deserve to know the truth. I won't badmouth their mom, but they need to know." "Okay, son. Your mom and I will support you," he said. I called Brian and explained that he and Jessica would be staying with their grandparents starting today. "What's going on, Dad?" he asked. "I'll tell you later. Just make sure you and your sister are home right after school. Grandpa will pick you up." "Okay, Dad. Love you. Love you too, son." A few minutes later, my secretary called. "Bill, Steve Jenkins is here to see you." I pulled my weapon out, placed it on the desk, turned on the VCR to record the meeting, and told my father Steve was here. Steve walked in like he owned the place and immediately saw the pistol. "Not a bad piece. Didn't know computer geeks use weapons," he said. "What do you want, Steve?" I asked. "Straight to the point. I know you saw Alan Jackson today." "So what?" I asked. "If you're thinking of divorcing Jolene, forget it. I won't let you drag me through court." "Why, Steve? I thought we were friends. How long has this been going on?" "Since prom night. Jolene and I started then and kept it up whenever you were away, even on your wedding day." "I was with her," he said. "You were my best man," I said. "And hers." 9 months later, Brian was born. When you went to Okinawa, we were together almost every night. Jolene had a fetus size 6 months later. It was my idea for her to make you get a vasectomy. We didn't want her to have your kids. We've been doing this for years, using your insurance for fetus sides. You couldn't just leave it alone. Now that you know I'll come by anytime I want, you'll do as I say, or I'll make sure something happens to the kids." "You fool," I said. "If you touch my kids, I'll put you down like a dog. Remember who's in charge. I own this county, the sheriff's department, and the judges. I own you. Play along, and you'll be all right. Step out of line, and it's over for you and the kids. Would you hurt your own children? I've grown up." "You better grow up too," Steve said and left. I stopped the tape, burned it to a DVD, sent copies to my dad and my contacts in Dallas, and called my father. "Dad, Check your mail. We need to move now. Steve just threatened me and the kids. Okay, my father said I'll make the call Brian to pick up Jess and come to my house. Let the school know. I agreed and called the school, explaining that neither my wife nor Steve Jenkins should pick up the children or even be in the building, as it was a matter of life and death. I also informed them that the children needed to leave immediately. I called Brian and told him to pick up Jess and go directly to his grandfather's house, no questions asked. I'll explain everything later. Do not contact your mother or Steve. It's crucial. Do you understand? Yeah, Dad, I got it. What's going on? He asked. No time to explain now. Just do as I say. Okay, Dad, he said. I grabbed my weapon and the DVD, left the office and got in my truck. I knew my dad would be on his way, so I didn't wait. 15 minutes later, I arrived at home. Jolene's car was there, but Steve's truck wasn't. I entered the house, hand on my holstered pistol. Jolene was coming down the stairs. Bill, you're home early, she said. Did something happen? Is Steve here? I asked. Why would Steve be here? She replied. You know why. Maybe for an afternoon hookup or to plan my homicide, I said. Jolene's eyes widened. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Watch this, I said. I put the DVD in the player and pressed play. Jolene watched Steve's confession and threat. Bill, it's not what you think. We can work things out, she said. Are you kidding me? You conspired with Steve to betray me, deny me children, and eliminate me. Now get your things and leave my house. I took her left hand, removed my grandmother's ring, and gave her my ring. Eat it, cow, I growled. Bill, please don't do this. I'm so sorry, she cried. You're a sorry excuse for a wife. Now get out. I threw her purse at her, and she rushed to the door. I followed her outside to her car. Where will I go? She asked, crying. Stop crying. Go to Steve, your mother's, or hell. I don't care. Just then, 2 cars pulled into the driveway, my dad's truck and Steve's. Jolene stopped crying and smirked. Now we'll see who has to go, she said. It would be easier if you cooperated. Are you really going to do this? I asked. In a heartbeat, she said. Dad blocked Steve's access with his truck and got out with his rifle. What are you doing, Jennings? Steve yelled. I'm enforcing a restraining order, Dad said. What kind of restraining order? Steve asked. The one against you and Jolene. Stay 500 feet away from my family and our property, Dad said. Get out of here. Steve stopped moving. 2 cars with flashing lights pulled up, and 4 state troopers got out with their pistols ready. We'll take it from here, Mr. Jennings, one officer said. Dad lowered his weapon. The officer handed Steve a restraining order. Is that her? He asked, nodding at Jolene. Dad shook his head. The officer handed Jolene the paper. Mrs. Jennings, you must stay 500 feet away from the Jennings family and their property. If you refuse, you'll be taken into custody. Do you understand? Yes, Jolene said quietly. Excuse me, officer, I said. I'd appreciate it if you took Jolene and Mr. Jenkins into custody. And why would I do that? He asked. I hit play so they could hear the threat Jolene made against me and the kids. The officer gave her a hard look and pulled out handcuffs. Mrs. Jennings, you're under arrest. Turn around and put your hands behind your back, he said. After handcuffing Jolene and reading her rights, he radioed another officer to arrest Steve. Steve, you'll pay for this, idiot, Jolene said as she was led away. You're all going to pay. A van from a local TV station pulled into the driveway. A reporter and camera crew walked up as Steve was being arrested. The reporter caught Steve's arrest on camera. Do you know who I am? Steve yelled. Yeah, I know, and I don't care. You're under arrest, the officer replied. I'll get your badge for this, Steve shouted, red-faced. I realized I should have mentioned their plot to eliminate me, but I didn't have the evidence with me. The news van moved so the patrol cars could leave. The reporter approached me, followed by my father. Mr. Jennings, why was Commissioner Jenkins arrested? She asked. Making death threats is a crime, even for popular politicians like Steve and his married girlfriend. Now I have to take care of my kids. My father joined me as we walked away, leaving the reporter in shock. Steve's reputation took a major hit. My next stop was my parents' house, where I explained everything to my family. I hated telling my children that Uncle Steve was their biological father, but they needed to know the truth. At first, they didn't want to believe it, but the DNA test results proved it. I don't care what that paper says, Jessica said. You're my father, and you always will be. I agree, Brian said. I was proud of them. We hugged and shed a few tears. After saying goodbye, I went back to my house, packed for a few days, and headed to Dallas. And that's when you found out how bad it really was, Ashley interrupted. Yeah, I said, resuming my story after a sip of coffee. The next day, I met with Dave Brooks, a Dallas attorney known for his courtroom prowess. He had arranged a meeting with all 3 men I had contacted. I was surprised to see them all there when I arrived. "Sorry to spring this on you, Mr. Jennings," Dave said, "but after that last video we thought it best to meet together." I accepted his apology and he introduced me to the others. John Hancock, a prosecutor from the state's attorney's office, took charge. "Mr. Jennings, I'm sorry for what you've been through. We have a lot of evidence against Steve Jenkins, including pills, weapon running, human trafficking, and 6 homicides. Your wife is involved too, especially in prostitution. The threats against you forced us to act quickly," he said. Don Jacobs, a Texas Rangers captain, explained that the sheriff's department was compromised and replaced temporarily by Rangers and DSS officers. He stressed the urgency of the situation. "As for your divorce," Dave said, "I'll push for an annulment due to your wife's criminal activity and deception. If not, we'll file for infidelity and mental cruelty based on your evidence. I believe you'll get all your assets and custody of your children, if you want." We discussed strategy for another hour. Dave handed me a DVD containing footage of my wife's actions. Some of it involves several men, including sheriff's deputies, he concluded. "With their plans for Steve and Jolene, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, Mr. Jennings," he said. "We're going for the judicial execution for Jenkins. Your wife might get life without parole, but your lives are in danger. Be very careful. You and your children are lucky to be alive. Call us immediately if you see or suspect anything." "I hear you," I said. We shook hands and parted ways. My mind was spinning. The man I thought was my best friend was involved in pills, weapons, and homicide, and my wife was part of it. How did I miss this for 17 years? I got a frantic call from Brian. "Dad, come home now," he said. "What's going on?" I asked. "Just come home now," he said and hung up. I sped home. When I arrived, there were ambulances and police cars in front of the house. I rushed to the door as paramedics wheeled out a gurney. The paramedic pulled back the sheet, revealing Jolene's face. "I'm sorry, Mr. Jennings," the paramedic said. "She's gone." I wasn't that upset. Inside, I saw Steve on another gurney, his left shoulder shattered but alive. My kids and father were standing off to the side, unharmed. I hugged them. "What happened?" I asked. Dad explained, "We came to pick up a few things." Steve and Jolene showed up. Jessica and Jolene fought, and Steve pulled a weapon. I grabbed my rifle and walked in just as Steve pulled out his weapon. Jolene tried to stop him, but he shot her accidentally. I shot Steve in the shoulder and called emergency. "Brian called you right after." "Yes." Jolene was gone before the ambulance arrived, I said. "It's okay, Dad. You did the right thing." I remembered the security system was running and checked the footage. I showed it to an officer and made a copy. "Do you have that video?" Ashley asked. "Yes," I said, pulling a disc from the stack. "I put it in the DVD player." The video showed Jolene and Steve entering the house, followed by Jessica. "What are you doing here?" Jolene asked. "You should be in jail. We bailed out," Jolene said. "You're coming with us." "I'm not going anywhere with you," Jessica said. "Leave now." Jolene grabbed Jessica's wrist. "You're coming with us," Jolene insisted. Jessica pulled away. "No way. I hate you," she yelled. Jolene slapped her. "Yes, you are. I have a room for you in Abilene." Jessica hit her mother back. "That's not happening," she said. Jolene grabbed her hands. "You're going to be our new star," Jolene said. Steve grinned. "The boys will like you." Jessica realized what they intended and struggled harder, breaking free. "I'm not going, and you can't make me. Get away from me," she said. Steve pulled a weapon. "It's over for you and your brother," he said. Jolene tried to reason with him, and Jessica screamed for her grandfather. "Wait, Steve, we agreed not to do it here. Let's take them to the Indian Trail. You know the place," she said. Steve shook his head. "No," he said. "Put the weapon down before there's an accident. We'll deal with them, but not here," she insisted. They struggled. A shot rang out, followed by a louder one. I stopped the DVD. "That's when Brian called me," I said. "You know the rest." Ashley wiped her tears as I stood up. "I'm done for the day," I said. "I'm going out back for a smoke, then to the cafeteria." Ashley followed. "I'll join you," she said. We took our coffee and walked to the back porch in silence. After a while, Ashley spoke. "I forgot how dark and quiet it is here. I'm used to the city." She looked at me. "Bill, you need to deal with this before it destroys you." "Easier said than done," I replied. "How do you accept that the woman you loved lied to you for years? My kids aren't even mine." "I understand a bit," she said. "My husband was a serial cheater, but not everyone is like that." "Yeah, I know," I said quietly. Ashley hugged me. "I'm here for you, Bill, always," she said. "Thank you," I said. "I often wish we had met in high school. I feel the same. Maybe if my dad hadn't transferred to Austin, we would have. I was even jealous of Jolene back then." "Really?" I asked. But you were with Steve. Only because you and Jolene were together. I had doubts about Steve. He told me he wasn't the type to get attached. Well, no point crying over it now, I said. If we had gotten together, you would be a reporter in the big city. True, but sometimes I wish I could give it all up for a good man, she said, looking at me. I believe you would, I said. After a while, we went back inside. I lay down on the couch, still concerned about Steve's friends despite the DSS officer outside. Ashley understood. Don't make a habit of it, cowboy, she said, smiling. I fell asleep and woke to the smell of bacon. Rise and shine, Ashley said, standing over me in a long t-shirt. Breakfast is ready. I went to the kitchen table, amazed at the spread: pancakes, bacon, sausage, grits, toast, eggs, cookies, and gravy. She even remembered peanut butter for the pancakes. A guy could get used to this, I said. Ashley brought fresh coffee. I hope you like it. It's been a while since I made breakfast for a man. It smells great. You'll get my mom's approval, I said. Didn't you cook like this for your husband? My ex preferred fast food. Dig in, cowboy. We have a lot to do today, she said. So what's on the agenda? I asked, savoring the meal. First, I'd like to see your family, then visit Jolene's mother for insight into her. If there's time, stop by the cemetery and we'll need to go shopping. You're almost out of everything, she said. I devoured the food, stopping to sip coffee and praise her cooking. Jolene hadn't made breakfast like this in years. I felt like I'd died and gone to heaven. I hugged and kissed Ashley, thanking her. That was amazing. I guess I better get ready. Please do. You need a shave, she said. I showered and shaved, thinking about Ashley. In less than 24 hours, I found myself falling for her, just like in high school. Could it be that Ashley and I were meant to be? For the first time in months, I felt content. Ashley, now dressed in jeans and a t-shirt, grabbed her laptop bag and purse. Ready to go? We arrived at my parents' house, greeted by the kids running out as soon as I pulled up. I introduced everyone to Ashley, and we went inside. Ashley explained her plan and asked to talk to everyone one-on-one. We all agreed. Mom went to the kitchen to make dinner and Dad took me into the living room. Ashley started with Jessica and then spoke with Brian. Dad and I waited, chatting about hunting, fishing, and soccer. Avoiding topics related to Jolene and Steve. A couple of hours later, Ashley asked to speak with my dad. I took the kids outside to play soccer. After about an hour, she finished with both parents and joined us outside until lunch was ready. The kids bonded with Ashley and she enjoyed spending time with us. We played soccer until Mom called us for lunch. I felt like I had a happy family again. After lunch, we said our goodbyes. Jessica hugged me before I left. Daddy, if you don't ask her to marry you, I'll kick your butt, she whispered. I promised to think about it. How did the interviews go? I asked Ashley as we left. They went well, she said. I know you have trust issues, so let me explain. I interviewed everyone privately to get independent confirmation. It's not that I don't believe you, but I wanted them to speak freely. I understand, Ashley. You're being professional. Did you learn anything new? Yes. Jessica said Steve has been making advances toward her for a while. That son of a cow, I said. Your family loves you very much. They had suspicions about Jolene but didn't want to interfere. If they had known specifics, they would have spoken up, she said. What else did you find out? I asked. I experienced what it's like to be part of a close-knit family, and I loved it. Thank you for including me, she said. The kids and I had a great time too. You made a big impression on them, I said. We arrived at Jolene's mother, Myrna's, apartment. Do you want to interview her privately too? I asked. No, I think you and she should talk, she said. Myrna opened the door and invited us in. She moved slowly due to health issues and depression. Her husband had died in a mysterious accident years ago, and Jolene's death left her alone. How are you feeling? I asked, hugging her. I'm fine, Bill. Thanks for asking, she said. She hugged Ashley. Ashley Marks, you're as beautiful now as in high school. Thank you for coming to see me. Ashley smiled as Myrna motioned for us to sit. What brings you here? She asked. I explained what Ashley was doing, and Myrna nodded approvingly. So, what can I tell you? She asked. Mrs. Carter, I'm curious. Jolene and Steve's affair continued throughout her marriage. You must have known. Why didn't you say anything to Bill? Ashley asked. Myrna looked embarrassed. Yes, I knew, she said. I'm sorry, Bill. I should have told you. You didn't deserve this. How long have you known? I asked. Since the beginning, she said. During your year in Okinawa, Steve practically lived with Jolene. They were careful when your family was around. I told her it was a mistake, but she didn't listen. If Jolene wanted to be with Steve so badly, why did she marry me? I would have let her go if she had just said so, I said. She was confused, Bill. She loved you both in different ways. To her, you were stable and dependable. Steve was wild and adventurous. You were a support for her, and he was excitement, Myrna explained. I'm sorry, Myrna. Jolene had sex with Steve on our wedding day, had 2 children with him, and plotted to eliminate us. These aren't the actions of a loving wife, I said. I know it's hard to believe, Bill, Myrna said, but she did love you, at least at first. That's what she told me. What changed her so much? Ashley asked. People change over time, Ashley, Myrna said. Steve latched onto Jolene and began to control her. I warned her once, but she said I'd regret it if I told Bill. Myrna looked at me. That's why I stopped visiting the kids, Bill. I couldn't face you, knowing what she was doing. Sometimes, they scared me. Did you know about her feticides? Ashley asked. Myrna nodded. Yes, Jolene told me. I warned her she'd get caught, but she shrugged it off, saying it was her choice, not Bill's. I suggested she divorce Bill, but she laughed and said she'd inherit everything soon anyway. How long ago was that? Ashley asked. About 1.5 years, Myrna said. I wanted to say something, Bill, but I was scared. Steve is terrifying. Myrna, did your husband know about this? I asked. I think so, she said. They were talking just before his accident. Myrna's husband was known as an excellent mechanic, yet his brake line mysteriously failed. It's all in the past now, isn't it? Myrna said. By the way, I don't blame you for not attending the memorial. I was hoping some of her friends would come, but it was just me and the priest, she added, wiping a tear. Thank you for paying for the cremation, Bill. I noticed you had her cremated in her wedding dress. You cremated her in her wedding dress? Ashley asked. I told you I burned her dress. I made sure she wore it and the wedding ring I gave her. It felt appropriate. Did you cremate the wedding ring too? Ashley asked. Yes, but not the engagement ring, I nodded. Thank you for making sure I got Jolene's IRA. It helped a lot, Myrna said. Jolene had an IRA? Ashley asked. Yes, when she was shot, it had $350,000. She also had $200,000 in a savings account I didn't know about. I put it in a trust for the kids' college, I said. Interesting, Ashley said, taking notes. She turned to Myrna. Is there anything else you can add? No, I think you know everything now, Myrna said. I'm sorry about how things turned out, Bill. I put my arm around her. It's okay, Myrna. Feel free to visit the kids anytime. They'd love to see you. She thanked me, hugged Ashley, and said goodbye. Don't be strangers, okay? We promised to stay in touch and left. You cremated her in her wedding dress and ring? Ashley asked as we got into the truck. It felt right at the time, I said. Ashley took notes as we drove to the cemetery. We reached the columbarium where Jolene's ashes were kept. The granite plaque read Jolene Carter with her birth and death years, nothing more. At least you treated her remains with dignity, Ashley said. Mostly for Myrna's sake. If it were up to me, I'd flush her ashes down the toilet. Interesting you used her maiden name, she added. She didn't value our family and life, so I didn't burden her with our name and death. They wanted me to write loving wife and mother on the plaque. I figured cheating strumpet or lying cow wouldn't fly, so I kept it simple. Ashley took her pictures and then placed her hand on my chest. There's still a lot of anger in you, isn't there? Tell me, Bill, did you ever mourn her? The truth was, no, I hadn't shed a tear since she was shot. Her lies, cheating, and threats against the kids destroyed my feelings for her. Part of me was ashamed, and it brought tears to my eyes. Damn it, I said. I didn't want to cry in front of Ashley. I turned away, but she made me face her. You need to get it out of your head, Bill, before it eats you up, Ashley said. Let it go, and you can move on. What kind of life is this, Ashley? I asked. Everything I thought I had was a lie. Tears rolled down my cheeks. Ashley hugged me tightly, kissing my face occasionally. That's what happened, I sobbed uncontrollably. Ashley held me until I calmed down. I wiped a tear from her cheek. She was my friend, too. Remember the 4 of us? You, me, Steve, Jolene, the 4 musketeers. I loved her like a sister. I hate what she became, but I loved her anyway. You did too. You married her, raised 2 kids with her. That must mean something. You're probably right, I said. Damn right, cowboy. I'm here for you, Bill, as long as you need or want me. I get it, I told her. She smiled and patted my chest. We need to get to the store. What do you want to do about dinner? How about a trip to Charlie's for steak and a band tonight? I asked. You're asking me out in front of your wife's ashes? She smiled, kissed me, and looked at Jolene's marker. Bye, Jolene. Your husband is asking me, she said. I whispered, bye, honey, to the marker and returned to the truck. Are you okay? She asked. Yeah, I said, starting the pickup. Let's get ready for tonight. We stopped by the farmer's market, bought groceries, and headed home. It finally felt like home with Ashley. I showered, shaved, and dressed, waiting for Ashley to finish getting ready. She came down in a denim skirt, white blouse, and cowboy boots. She looked stunning. I offered her my arm and we left. Charlie's restaurant was known for great steaks. After dinner, we had a beer and watched couples dance. "Do you want to dance?" I asked. "Of course," Ashley said. We danced the night away. 2 steps, waltzes, slow dances, even line dancing. During a slow dance, Ashley kissed me deeply. "I love you, Bill Jennings," she whispered. "Always have and always will." "I love you too, Ashley Marks," I said. She licked her lips nervously. "Take me home and make love to me, cowboy," she said. "Or I'll pounce on you right here. Let's get this situation under control," I said, doing a bad John Wayne impression. She smiled, took my hand, and led me to the parking lot. "Take me home now," she purred. She started entertaining me in the car. "Thank God for tinted windows," I said. "We're almost home," I told her. "Good," she whispered. We parked in the garage and rushed inside. Later, we lay on the bed, her in my arms. Just hours ago, I was a broken man. Now, with Ashley, I felt hope. I knew what I wanted to do, but feared she'd think I was rushing. Screw it, I thought, full speed ahead. "A penny for your thoughts," she said, looking up at me. "I don't want it to ever end," I told her. "Me neither," she said. "What do you propose to do about it?" Her reporter instincts again, I thought. I opened the nightstand drawer and pulled out a small box holding my great-grandmother's engagement ring. I'd had it cleaned after taking it from Jolene. Ashley focused on the box as I explained the ring's history. It had been passed down through generations, starting with my great-grandfather in World War I. "You see, Ashley, this ring symbolizes my love for you. In over 100 years of Jennings family history, I understand if you'd prefer a new ring, but this one means a lot to me." Ashley, with a tear in her eye, said, "Yes, I will marry you and be proud to wear your great-grandmother's ring. But there's one condition." "Condition?" I asked. "Promise you'll cancel the vasectomy. I want to have a house full of kids. Maybe one day we can pass the ring on to one of our grandchildren." I smiled, put the ring on her finger, and we kissed before making love and falling asleep in each other's arms. The next morning, I woke up to the smell of bacon. Ashley was making another spectacular breakfast. We ate, packed for the trip to Dallas, and showered together, leading to another session of lovemaking. I called the kids to share the news. "Woohoo!" Brian shouted when I told them we were getting married. Jessica was just as happy. "Good for you, Daddy," she said. "You got a real winner." "Congratulations," my dad said. "Welcome to the family, Ashley." "Thank you, Mr. Jennings," she said. "Call me Dad," he laughed. "Okay, Dad," Ashley said. "I'm so excited for you two," my mom said. "Have you set a date?" "Not yet," Ashley said. "I have things to finish in Austin first, but it will be soon. Brian, I think it would be great if you and Jessica visited your Grandma Carter occasionally. She misses you." "Okay, Dad," Brian said. We said our goodbyes and loaded into the truck. Something Ashley said to my mom stuck in my head. "What are your plans?" "Long-distance relationships don't always work out," I said. "Did you know Jake Carson is retiring as editor-in-chief of the Daily Record?" she asked. "I didn't," I said. "I sent my resume last week before we met, and they want to talk to me about the job. He won't retire for 3 months, and I need 2 months to finalize things at the Statesman." "What if you don't get the job?" I asked. "I'll quit my job and live with someone I know here," she teased. "No one else is interested in the job, and the board wants a woman with my experience. I have ideas to improve circulation." "Sounds like you got it figured out," I said. "I like to be prepared," she said. "No matter what happens, I'll support you." She wrapped her arms around my neck. "That's why I love you so much," she said. "If I stayed at the Statesman, they could send me anywhere, anytime. I was tired of living in hotels. The paycheck might not go up and it might even go down, but living in one place with you is worth it. If I don't get the job, I'll write online, freelance, or maybe write a book. I'd rather spend all my time in bed with you. That's the plan I like best," I told her. "Let's go outside." After closing up the house, I picked some flowers from the front garden. "Mind if we make a stop?" I asked. "Oh, do you have a girlfriend hiding somewhere?" she teased. "You know better," I said. Her question still bugged me, though. "You're right. I'm sorry," she said. "We both got burned, so it's a sore subject. I was thinking about what you said at the cemetery. It's time to put it behind us." "Good for you," she replied. We pulled into the cemetery and walked to Jolene's ashes. I placed the flowers in a vase. "By the way, Jolene, Ashley and I are getting married. Thought you'd like to know," I said. Ashley added, "And if the kids are okay with it, I plan to adopt them." We said our goodbyes and walked back to the truck. "Do you really want to adopt the kids?" I asked. "Hell yeah," Ashley said. "They deserve a mother they can trust." Are you okay with that? Of course, I said. Marrying Ashley felt right for all of us. Jessica needed a strong, loving mother as a teenager. We drove back to Dallas, mostly in silence, with Ashley working on her story. When we arrived at the hotel, she suggested, "Why don't you move into my room? The paper's paying for mine until this is over. At least let me pay part of the bill," I said. "You can pay for our dates," she replied. I checked out of my room and moved in with Ashley. That night, we went out for steak, danced, and enjoyed another night of passion. The next morning, we got to the courthouse early. The jurors began deliberations right away. Ashley did her job as a reporter, taking testimony and talking to observers. By afternoon, the jury had reached a verdict. Steve sat emotionless as the jury entered. "We have a verdict, Your Honor," the foreman said, handing the verdict to the bailiff. The judge read it and asked if the verdict was unanimous. It was. In People v. Steve Jenkins, the jury finds the defendant guilty on all charges and recommends the judicial execution, the judge said. Steve's attorney had gambled on the jury being unable to unanimously agree on the judicial execution, but he lost. Steve was guilty of 6 counts of first-degree homicide, manslaughter, conspiracy to commit homicide, and various trafficking charges. Each juror confirmed their agreement with the verdict and punishment. "Mr. Jenkins, I agree with the jury. If any case deserves the judicial execution, it's this one. I order you to be transferred to Huntsville State Prison and executed as prescribed by law. May God have mercy on your soul," the judge said, striking the gavel. My lawyer gestured for me to follow him. We caught up with the officers escorting Steve. Steve glared at me, defeated. "What are you looking at, idiot?" he spat. "I'm looking at a worthless piece of crap," I said. "Now I know what that looks like." My lawyer handed Steve 2 forms to sign. One relinquishes all parental rights to Brian and Jessica Jennings. The other outlines the disposition of your estate, 1/3 to Myrna Carter, 1/3 to a trust for Brian Jennings, and 1/3 to a trust for Jessica Jennings. Steve, furious but defeated, signed both forms. "Are you happy now?" he asked. "I will be," I said. "By the way, Ashley and I are getting married, and she's adopting the kids. Enjoy hell." My lawyer and I left. I didn't see Steve again until his execution. Yes, I peed on his grave, but not in front of Ashley. She wouldn't have approved. Finally, the nightmare was over, and I looked forward to a new chapter with Ashley. True to her word, Ashley let me read the story she wrote about me, and I was impressed. It went viral, leading to several talk show appearances for Ashley. She even won a Pulitzer Prize for it. The Statesman was reluctant to let her go, but gave her a bonus and recommendation when she left. The Daily Record welcomed her as the new managing editor, and within a year, the paper's circulation tripled, prompting expansion and more hires. We chose a backyard wedding, inviting family and friends. Ashley's parents came from Austin with some of her friends from the Statesman. Her dad walked her down the aisle, shaking my hand warmly. Brian was my best man, and Jessica was Ashley's maid of honor, making it a family affair. After our vows, the priest introduced us as Mr. and Mrs. William Jennings. Brian put his arm around Ashley and said, "Welcome to the family, Mom." Jessica hugged her, saying, "I love you, Mom." "I love you too," Ashley replied, hugging them both. My father handed us an envelope with 2 tickets for a week-long Caribbean cruise for our honeymoon. "Thanks, Dad," we said in unison, starting a new adventure. 10 months later, Ashley gave birth to twins, a boy and a girl. We named them William Frederick, after my grandfather, and Alicia Marie, after Ashley's grandmother. On their birthday, I met George Mason, a local politician. He congratulated me and mentioned the upcoming election, suggesting I could take Steve's place on the commission. "You brought him down like the man who shot Liberty Valance," he said, laughing. "Except John Wayne wasn't waiting in the shadows this time," I replied. "Thanks, but I can't take a pay cut. I have 2 new mouths to feed," I said. "You could still run your business," he suggested. "Maybe, but there is another reason," I said. "Power corrupts.